So you all have most of the day. I believe that it was kind of just about noon when you all had gotten all the information. You'd come back together and decided that you all needed about 2 more days to fully prepare for this 3 day trek. So we'll go ahead and start with the reason that everyone is having to stick around a little longer. Kenneth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kenneth, you said that you wanted to go to Dr. Victoria and undergo a few procedures to speed up your rest. Yes?
hmm
Awesome. So as you kind of slowly pick your way over to Dr. Victoria's tent, you see that as you hop up onto the slab, this slab is not being utilized much by the actual shelter. It's mostly a massive garden with a ton of plants that probably shouldn't be able to exist and are somehow being kept magically alive in this unforgiving landscape. You don't really hear her yet as you approach, but you can hear like a low humming and a couple of odd noises here and there as you approach.
Um. I'm gonna enter the tent.
Gotcha. As you push aside the tent flap, you are immediately greeted by a gust of just this very hot and moist air. And as you step in, you see that this is much bigger on the inside than the outside. Uh, the internal space of this is larger than the mayor's manor. It is a huge space. However, it feels very small because it is packed with stuff. There's a ton of like alchemical lab equipment. That's the majority of it. A lot of jarred things, things that are being kept in storage, a lot of raw ingredients. And as you sort of slowly make your way through and try to pick a path, you're like stepping over things. It's kind of feels like a horde that exists in here. And you even hear the odd noise here and there of what sounds like little skittering and things moving around and jumping around in here. Um, and now that you're inside, go ahead and give me a investigation check.
So 13 plus 0. So 13.
13. It takes you a few moments of standing there and just trying to see like where you can go. Like you found a little path to go on. It pretty quickly ends, and then you're like, is she even in here? You start looking around and scanning, and you see like in the far back corner, just every now and then her head kind of bobs up, and then she's looking around for something, grabs something, and goes back down to what she was doing.
Can I kind of creep forward and try and get a peek at what she's doing?
Sure. Are you trying
Alright.
to do that stealthily?
Um. Yes.
Sure. Yeah, stealth check.
Alrighty. That is a 10.
That is a 10. There's a lot of stuff in here. Um, you try to carefully pick your way through and find a path, but you pretty immediately bump into a couple of things. You hear things rattle, shake. At one point, a pseudo dragon, like a dragon the size of a bird, just pops up and flies past you as you have kind of disrupted its nest and over somewhere else. She looks up and she says, "Who's there?"
It's Kenneth. I was hoping you could help with a little bit of these injuries.
"Oh, of course, right this way." And she waves you over.
All right. Yeah, I'll come on over. I'll
Pick
come
your way
on
over.
down. Next
Takes you about a
contestant. I
minute
guess
or
that's right.
two, and yeah, you get over. And you see she's just sat at an alchemical table that's very low to the ground. She's like kneeling as she's doing these different things on the table, mixing stuff up. What exactly can I do for you?
Uh, I've been shot in places.
Yes, I
Um,
remember. I already dressed those wounds.
yeah, I'm just still not really feeling the greatest. I was wondering if you had something that might be able to speed up my recovery a little bit.
Hmm. Do
You
of
got
course
any cocaine?
there. It will require some valuable resources, and I will not sugarcoat this. It will likely be an uncomfortable process.
Yeah. Comfortability is a perk of the not shot in
Hmm.
people. You know what I'm saying?
I think I understand what you're trying to say. Uh, Are you not satisfied with the current rate of recovery? You're trying to speed it up?
Yeah, that. Yeah.
Ah, 5 gold.
That seems a little steep to speed up the process.
You want me to cheat God, and you think that 5 gold is too much?
Got him.
Oh, when you put it like that. Yeah, that is kind of what I'm saying, isn't it?
Ha! I like that. All right, 4 gold.
You know what? I'm not gonna press my luck with God, so.
All right this way. And she just stands up and like sort of pushes some stuff out of the way, and you see that there's like a large pod, a sort of metal pod. And she's like, just hop in there.
Fucking Bacta tank.
And I can like the pod opens and like.
Yeah, it opens. It looks like you're about to step into like a massive steam engine. And she starts looking around and like flipping through stuff, grabbing jars, looking at it. She's like, no, that's not right. She pulls out a mortar and pestle, and she's like, starts cooking something up.
Yeah, hi, Kenneth Cross, just met. You want me to get in there?
Yes.
Why?
Well, in order to get your body to heal faster, we're going to have to put it through some extreme stress. You're mostly going to be alternated through extreme heating and cooling, along with being inundated with air, which has been filled with a few, chemical components that are going to cause some hermetic stress.
Is there a survival rate that tags along with that, or
Oh, of course. 95%.
95? Oh, wonderful. Just 120.
Now, if you're trying to get out without severe maiming, it's more like 60%.
Better pray to your God, bud.
Luckily, we know somebody
tight odds.
who does replacement limbs.
Kenneth is gonna have some robot arms. Is that what I'm hearing?
Hey Pete, I need a whole new lower half of my body.
Can you make me a centaur?
You want that with or without
she's mixing the stuff up. She spits in it a couple of times. She grabs something.
Yeah, she
mixes it in,
does.
and then she pours it into the engine and just starts cranking away. And she's like, whenever you're ready, go ahead and get in.
Do it.
I'm gonna just fucking hop in.
You hop in, and the metal is very cold as you get in. She says, actually, you're probably not going to want to wear clothes in there.
Okay.
Wow.
Usually, I thought there was supposed to be like a ceremony, and like our friends and family would be here before,
And she grabs like, one of those like cabana things, the things that people change behind. And she just pulls one out, and she's like, that won't be necessary. Just get in.
So do I need to take my clothes off, or
do you want them to become a part of you?
Taking them off, ma'am.
You pretty quickly slide out of your clothes. You hop in, and the metal is very cold to the touch. You seal yourself in there, and there's a little window where you can see out. And why don't you go ahead and give me a Constitution save?
This is terrifying, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this.
What a way to start a fucking round.
I'm like still half asleep, and I'm getting put in a metal box.
I was imagining like the Chokey from Matilda.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm terrified. And then you said Constitution? It'll be a 19.
Nice.
All right. So you begin hearing, she stops turning it. She hits a button and she says, this will only take a few hours. And she slams the thing. And all of a sudden you just hear the hissing as this steam, which appears to be purple and blue and green, sort of fills up. And then you feel as if that third sun were in the sky again. You remember the height of it when you were almost passed out. You almost immediately feel like you're about to pass out for a moment, and then it stops. You're freezing cold. It's like the dead of winter in the coldest place that you've been in. And it alternates between those to you what feels like almost every second, where there's no chance for you to acclimate to it or to get used to it before you're hit with the opposite end. However, after a few rounds of this, you kind of just fully dissociate and it's not a big deal. You actually find the experience to be somewhat calming as you're not able to really think about anything. You're not able to really experience any of the sensations because they're just blurring into one. Uh, and then you see her kind of tap on the glass and she says, I was just joking about the 65%. You're not going to be maimed. You could die. Do you have a breathing condition?
I don't think so.
You'll be
Are
fine.
you-
You'll be fine.
Are you asthmatic?
Exactly.
Oh, I forgot. Do you have asthma?
And she says, all right, I'll be back in a few hours. Just try to enjoy it. And she wanders out of the tent.
She said, leave him in there.
Just like staring out the glass, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pete, what are you doing? Would you like to craft anything?
Yeah, so let's... Is there any, like, libraries or knowledge bases in town?
Ooh, the best bet you're going to have, and the mayor probably would have told you this when you first met him, and you found out that you were kind of a science-y researcher guy. Reginald has a manor outside of town, and he is the one who is very interested in books and whatnot. He's a part of the old magocracy who had come over here mostly by choice because he was interested in the magical weirdness of the area, so he would likely have quite a few books.
Okay, I'll start moving on foot in that direction.
Gotcha. Takes you about 20 minutes to get there. He lives kind of on the very outskirts of town, kind of butted up against, like in the back corner where not many people are, easy to overlook. But you make it over there, and it's actually a pretty plain looking house. It doesn't seem to have many frills. It is 3 stories tall, but it's not especially decorative.
Okay. As I walk up, I'll knock on the door, see if anybody's home.
You knock on the door, you hear it kind of echo through the house and also in the surrounding area. And after a few minutes, you hear some walking, a couple of steps, some tick, 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 coming up to the door. And a very short, very squat man opens the door, looks up at you. He appears to be a gnome. He looks at you through very thick glasses and he says, what can I do for you?
Hello, sir. I am just rolling into town. I am incredibly bored, looking for a way to pass time. I heard that you might be somewhat of a knowledge plethora. I was hoping that maybe, if time permits, I could come inside of your home and maybe browse your archives or.
A man of science, yes. Right this way, right this way.
Thank you, sir.
And he waddles in, and you see that the house is pretty bare bones. There's not a lot going on. Looks like a couple comfy chairs. But he leads you up to the 3rd floor, where there is a massive library, much larger than you would expect to see out here. And this appears to be where all the money for the house went. This room has all the fixings, right? He's got one of those ladders with the wheels that you can kind of slide around on. It's very ornate. It's got some very comfy chairs. There's even a large kind of like telescope that sort of is out one window. And you see that along the walls there are many maps of the surrounding area, most of them pretty incomplete. It seems like he's not able to go out as much as he might have when he was younger. But he sort of goes and sits down, interlocks his fingers and crosses his legs, and he says, so, what were you looking for?
So yes, I'd be interested in any sort of biology textbooks that you may have, as well as any information that you have stored about engineering and mechanical components. Anything of that nature would be greatly helpful to me. I was also wondering if perhaps you have any reading gloves that you want me to put on before handling your books.
You're a keen one, yes. And he goes over and he grabs some gloves, he hands them over to you. He puts some on as well, and he says, make sure. You'll notice there are not many windows here, and there are no reading chairs near the windows. The sunlight can damage the pages. Please be careful. Now, I've only had a passing interest in biology and engineering, so I only have probably some 30 or 40 books on the subject, but they will be, and he waddles over to the back corner. He says, "Here's engineering," and you see it's probably about 10 books. There's one about the new steam engine technology that came in only a few months ago. And then he waddles to a different section. He says, "Here's biology. This is mostly surrounding flora and fauna. Do have an old medical textbook or two written in Elvish about humanoid physiognomy. But yes."
Okay, I will handle all of those, and then I'll also take a peek around the room and just see if I notice any maps from the infernal plane.
It doesn't appear that any of these are from a different plane of existence. They all seem to be different regions of Exultia. And you might be interested in them because a lot of these place names, aren't places that necessarily existed, or like maybe there's a city that popped up and you're like, "Oh, that's a reference to a very old thing I know about," but that's not. Yeah.
Perfect. One last request, sir. Do you happen to have any spare parchment that would be lying around, and perhaps a pen with a little bit of ink that I may borrow?
Yes, of course. And he goes over to his writing desk. He pulls some out, and he says, "I like the cut of your jib, so I won't charge you for it just now. But here's a few papers," and he hands you a little stack, and he says, "Just don't use that desk. You can use one of the tables to write on."
Perfect. Thank you so much. And then for a check, I'd like to just kind of draft up a rough map of the infernal area that I'd lived in for 10 years and see if I can bestow that to him as a gift.
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna say, what would that be? I feel like that's sort of a wisdom-y, maybe intelligence, whichever you'd prefer there.
Okay, I'll roll for intelligence. That's 16.
16. Yeah, it doesn't take you that long. You're pretty familiar with the area. You make a pretty decent map of the city and some of the surrounding areas. You're not a cartographer, but you're pretty good at drawing up plans, so you do a very serviceable job. And he comes over after a few minutes of you drawing when he sees that you're not just writing something, you are drawing something out. And he seems very interested, but he doesn't interrupt you at any point. And as you're finishing up and he sees you sort of set the pen aside, he says, "Now, where in the world is that?"
Yes, so this would be a rough sketch of where I had lived for the last 10 years. It's the elemental plane of heat and fire. It's a wonderful place to be if you ever get the chance to go, but it requires a lot of luck and perhaps a lot of unluckiness as well if you are to be thrown out there. But I figured it'd be an interesting addition to your collection of maps and knowledge base, and I wanted to use it as a thank you for letting me borrow your books.
"Oh, very kind. Very nice. No one's ever given me a map I didn't have. Thank you."
You're welcome, sir. It's an honor to meet you.
"You as well." And he puts out a little hand for you to shake.
And then I will shake it, grab it with the other hand, lift it up and down, then turn it side to side, and then squeeze it like exceptionally hard, but not hard enough to injure anybody. Then release it and smell my hand.
And he smells his hand too, to be polite. And he says, "Just please make a note of what books you take, and put them back where you found them if you could. If you can't find where they were, just leave the book with the note someplace away from the window."
Understood. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
"Of course." And then he waddles and heads down the stairs.
So then I'll peep through the books, just kind of gaining any knowledge base I can. The steam engine one seemed particularly interesting to me, but I also don't read Elvish, so the biology book on humans is probably a little lost to me. I don't know if there's like diagrams in there with pictures that help me out, help me understand or anything, but
Yeah, it's honestly mostly diagrams. Obviously, any of the margin stuff or the labels, you don't necessarily know what they mean, but you see multiple depictions. One is of like a nervous system, though it's not labeled that way necessarily. One is of the vasculature and the muscles. It's a pretty standard medical textbook. Think of like French medical textbooks in the 1800s. Like they knew a lot of stuff. There might be a couple of places where it's like they drew 3 different organs as the same organ, but like bodies have been dissected, notes have been taken. Get a pretty good idea of it. Can I
Perfect.
ask, this knowledge that you're trying to gather, is this to aid you in the creation of some of your stuff later?
Of course.
Awesome. In that case, I'm going to definitely say you're going to have advantage on any of those checks to make that stuff because you've done this proper research beforehand.
Perfect. And yeah, that's kind of my plan for at least a good portion of the day.
For sure. So yeah, most of the day you spend taking notes, writing stuff out, and sort of drafting diagrams of things, kind of maybe throwing some out, redoing it as you gain different information. And you even are able to find a Elvish to Common dictionary that is somewhat helpful. It's kind of an older edition, but like it can help you piece together some things.
Perfect.
Wayne, what are you trying to do?
Wayne still has a stag hide he needs to sell to get some money for, so he can,
Gotcha.
for
Oh,
fun. So I'm gonna go to the whatever general stores around, and or if there's a fence or something or someone I can
yeah,
sell
for
this
sure.
hide
So
to.
Dr. Victoria is the main person that you would go to. She's the closest thing to a general store that is permanently held here.
Mhm.
However, occasionally traveling merchants come through. They stay for a few days, and you do know that there is a horse trader in town right now. He was sort of sharing a drink with the merchants who had come to town. The merchants don't really have much on them. They didn't get away with much of their stuff,
Mhm.
but there's a horse trader you could probably sell a skin to. And between that and maybe selling to Dr. Victoria or just talking to someone like Clive, someone who has a small shop, you might be able to sell.
I do like Clive. I'm gonna go talk to Clive.
Gotcha. So yeah, you know where Clive camps at. He's set up a stall, kind of just like right on the edge of the foundation that he had chosen. And he looks at you. He sees you approach, and he has been eating breakfast. And he says, "Oh, Wayne, how's it going?"
Morning, Clive. How you doing?
"Oh, doing all right. Can't complain."
Question for you. You got any interest in a stag hide? It's not best condition, but it's not poor either. So it's about that middle ground, I'd say. And I show him the hide.
Yeah, and he takes it, kind of looks at it, brushes it off a little bit, lays it down, and looks at it for a second. He says, "That's a mighty fine hide."
Thank you.
Yeah, what are you looking for it?
Whatever you think's best. I'm just, trying to make sure I'm stacked up. What I really need to do, I want to try to get myself a couple more throwing knives. Is what I'm looking for.
I think I might just have something. And he starts digging through like a pretty small travel chest that he has that's by the stand. So he says, I actually won these in a bet, a little contest between me and some of the other folk here. I tell you what, I will give you these 3 throwing knives in exchange for that pelt. What do you think?
Sounds like a fair trade to me.
All right. And he hands them over to you, takes the pelt, brushes off a little bit more, and he sets it on sort of the stall thing as like a placemat. He says, mighty fine, mighty fine.
Are those throwing knives just gonna be typical daggers, or is there
Yeah,
something I should be
it'll
looking?
just be
Okay,
a dagger.
cool. I'll add those to the inventory at the end of the session. Thank you.
Yes.
Clive, if you ever want to go out on a bounty hunt, let me know because I'm thinking about going after this goblin by the name of Slippery Sean. He's out on the list right now, but I'm
Oh.
kind of prepping up for another. I kind of like look around, like nothing about the dead man's hand.
He looks at you, kind of confused. He says, can't say I've heard of them. I've heard of Slippery Slim, but only people kind of
Hmm.
telling tales over the campfire.
Dead Man's Hand's a group that's robbed two folk on the way in, and they're armed to the teeth. So we're gonna be taking the boys out here. Probably grab Slim and go out there and take care of that in a couple of days. But waiting for Kenneth to heal up after the whole Weston thing.
Well, if you're going after a gang, stay safe.
I'll do my best.
How far a journey you think that is?
Think it's about a day's ride out there and day back. So gotta bring them in alive to the best of our ability. But
I know there's a few canyons around. I've heard that the Red Canyon's a day out, but I think Carrion Canyon's a bit further.
Red Canyon's a day out. I'll have to go look around. Maybe I can get some more information on that one.
Gotcha. Well, I don't think I'll be joining you, but if you're going after a gang, please do stay safe and make sure you stock up for the journey. There's a horse trader in town, or you all have been partial to those sheriff-owned horses.
Yeah, just mostly because I ain't got a lot of coin on me right now, but I should probably look into
Amen.
that, see if I can do something for him to get myself a horse. I just feel bad using the sheriffs all the time because we're really breaking those things down. How much we've been riding lately.
True. Well, go ahead and ask
Uh,
Charles in the tavern there, the horse trader. He seems like a stand-up fellow.
all right, I'll go speak with him. Thanks, Clive. And I do the
Yeah.
Viking grip, and
Yeah, shake
I
your hand.
head over to go talk to Charles.
Gotcha. Yeah, you head over to the tavern, and you see that the merchants are still there. It's a little past midday. The horse merchant that had been with him, he's hanging out there as well, just kind of nursing a drink at the moment. Sat at the bar alone. Samson sees you come in. His eyes kind of light up, and he nods to you, and he says, "Whiskey." Or sorry, he
Whiskey.
says, "Whiskey." Yeah,
Whiskey.
pours your whiskey, slides it over.
Can I get a vibe check from this Charles folk?
Absolutely.
That's gonna be a low roll of a vibe check. That's a 10.
10. Gotcha. He nothing really stands out to you about him. Seems like a pretty standard merchant. He's not really paying attention to his surroundings, kind of like he's in his own world at the moment, drinking. But you're not getting much in the way of a bad vibe from him. Pretty neutral.
Okay.
He's a human, pretty stocky, burly guy, kind of barrel chested. Yeah.
Excuse me, Charles.
Yes.
Wayne Eastwood. I was told to come talk to you about a horse.
Oh yeah, I've got plenty of horses. What are you looking for?
Something with speed and something that can take a hit if need be, tripling up on something. Something stocky, something quick.
Stocky and quick, eh? I tell you what, I got a strong chestnut stallion. Name's Thunder. And
Good
he
name.
says, "You want to go look at him right now?"
Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna be purchasing today. I'm still gotta collect a couple more bounties before I can purchase, but I'm in the market for a horse.
Understandable. And he gets up and he says, "Oh, I'll be here for a week or two." So, and he goes out, heads around the side. You'll walk for about 5 minutes, and then you see tied to one of the posts. He's got 6 different horses over there next to his wagon. He goes over to Thunder. It is a chestnut stallion. This thing is really well muscled and clearly pretty fiery. As soon as he comes up, it takes him a minute to calm it down. The thing's kind of kicking around. He's separated it from the others. It's clearly a pretty cantankerous one. And he says, old Thunder here was a workhorse for a number of years, but he doesn't work well with others. He was only good as a plow horse, and even then, he was tough to work with. Bought him off a farmer.
I know the kind of person.
True.
Wayne laughs knowing anything about his old past life, how people used to get mad at him all the time for just beating the living shit out of criminals with doing the old Batman vigilante justice.
Yeah, I bought him off a farmer. He had kicked one of the farmer's sons so hard that I couldn't walk anymore.
Ooh. Got quite a kick there, do you, boy? I'm saying that to the horse.
And the horse looks at you and just kind of tosses its head up.
I'm gonna reach into my satchel and grab. I'm pretty sure I have a carrot in there, or some sort of provisions or something. So I'm gonna grab a carrot out of the satchel. Just kind of like hold it to him, and be like, "Here's if you want it."
Give me an animal handling with advantage there.
Oh baby, that's the best I've ever rolled animal handling. That's a 21.
Hell yeah. Thing looks at you suspicious for a second, and then it just like chomps really quick on the carrot, biting it up to the point like an inch away from where you were holding it, and just bites it, looks at you, tosses its head.
The little bit left, I take it, I pop it in my mouth and just eat it, looking at him like, okay.
It looks at you, it taps the ground a couple of times and throws its head. Seems to be amused by that. The man says, "Oh, hitting it off. Like lightning and thunder, eh?
Oh, I haven't heard that name in a while. We used to call my daughter Lightning. She was quick as hell, real scampered up everywhere she could.
Oh.
Uh,
Where is the tyke?
she's back home with her mom. I just came out here on business. Waiting for like that's the first time he's like ever said anything about his daughter. Minus to like two other people, and just lies through his teeth on that one.
Mm-hmm. I got a little one of my own back home. Something special about it. I don't know. I can't wait to get back to him.
Yeah, being away from him is always hard.
Truly.
I take it you're going back home after you finish your business out here, then, huh?
Oh yeah, a little further out than I'm used to going, Boomtown, but it seems to be picking up a bit here with the amount of people coming out, and oftentimes there's people with some pretty good money.
Yeah, things building up pretty quick. I'm hoping to move my family out here, honestly, and maybe stick around a while.
Oh, yeah, glad to hear it. Probably be seeing you in a couple other next time I'm through, then, eh?
Oh yeah. Sorry, real quick, back to Thunder over here. What's the going rate for him right now?
Thunder. I'm gonna say 40 gold pieces.
All right. Let me go collect a bounty, and I can get back to you because right now what I got on me right now. Wayne's like fish around in his bag trying to see how much he's got. I got 9 gold and 15 silver after having to pick up some ammo, so I'll have to pick up a bounty and I can get back to you with that. But yeah, if you don't mind just telling people that there's someone interested already, I can get that 40 gold as soon as I possibly can.
Tell you what, you got a pretty good bond with him. You can get me that gold within the week. I'll knock it down to 30.
All right.
I'll keep him here though. Won't sell him to anyone until you've confirmed whether or not you can do it.
You said it was 30 within the week?
Yeah. Mostly because I just don't want to have to try to drag him back. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's a mean bastard.
I can be too, but I'm sure we can work something out, right, Thunder? I kind of put like the back of my hand out towards his snout. So I'm not gonna pet him unless he like lets me, kind of thing. I just kind of like hold it towards him. I take off my glove too, so my glove is off.
He looks at you. He's kind of bobbing his head around. He sniffs your hand a couple of times, but trying to make it look nonchalant. And then for a second, he just kind of.
I give him like a little pat, so the other horses aren't looking at him. I'm like, I won't tell if you don't tell.
All right. Kenneth, how you feeling, bud?
Claustrophobic yet?
Warm, then cold, then warm again.
Can you give me a wisdom saving throw?
A wisdom saving throw? I can, yeah, but why? Why do you need that, DM? Oh, shoot, that's gone. Okay. 9?
Okay. Your mind is wandering quite a bit while undergoing this procedure. The hot and cold flashes have begun to slow down, so you are lingering in one for longer and then the other for longer. After, about 10 minutes, it's like 5 seconds hot, 5 seconds cold, and then 10 seconds hot, 10 seconds cold. You're at the point where you start to acclimate, and just as you get comfortable in one, it starts to switch to the other. And when it's hot, you can't help but think about being around the campfire. When it's cold, you can't help but think about those lonely nights that you spent in the temple as a child. And these two images continue to kind of battle for space in your mind. One of the cold austerity of the temple, of the isolation, of the just awful breezes because fire was not permitted on the premises. And then the warmth, the camaraderie, but oftentimes the fighting, the frustration, constantly desiring to just beat the shit out of one of your comrades around the campfire in the gang that you ran with. And each time you kind of alternate between them, you feel bad. You feel like you've almost lived two completely separate lives.
Focus down on the warm side of things, like the campfire and the fighting and stuff, because I feel like even though there was fighting, there was all that, at least there was companionship in a way. And compared to the icy cold loneliness of being in the temple, like, yeah, I feel a little guilty that I've kind of lived two different lives, but
Can you give me a straight charisma check?
yeah. It's gonna be 21.
21. These are competing for space in your mind as you're undergoing these intense changes in physical sensations. And for a while, it feels like every time you are experiencing the cold, you almost completely lose the memory of the campfire. But then you start to really think about it. The names run through your mind: Fira, Bill, Archie, Crow. You can hear their laughter. You remember moments with them. And then the cold's not so bad. Every time you go into it, you're met by a fresh memory of, well, that fight ended with a pretty good laugh. Oh, that one time he did cook me a good meal. You know, Bill felt kind of bad about what had happened, and he had made me a little pancake. Uh, just these lovely memories that continue to bubble up whenever you're experiencing the cold. And the time seems to pass by pretty quickly. Dr. Victoria wanders back in, opens it up, and kind of averts her eyes and hops over for you to get dressed. She says, "What'd you think?"
I think it was very hot and very cold. And definitely on par with some psychedelics that I've heard of.
Well, you'll probably experience a few side effects for the next day. I would say try to avoid hopping on a horse until tomorrow night or the day after. Very funny. Very funny. Um, you may end up experiencing some bouts of explosive diarrhea and vomiting. But aside from that, yeah, you should be fine.
Right. Okay. Thank you
Of
for
course.
the explosive diarrhea and vomiting, I guess.
Well, it will actually help when you start to experience them if you do some of these stretches. And she just starts showing you these like very intense and difficult stretches to do. She's like, if you start to feel them rising up, you could always, and she like goes down into like fully like grabbing onto her own legs and like pulling herself down into a tough position, coming up and like arching into this strange spot. And she explains to you a couple of names of them. And she says, that should abate some of the symptoms.
Uh, I will try those out. Thank you. And
Wonderful.
I guess I'll be on my way.
Yep. She pats you on the shoulder and she says, anytime.
I am going to walk out with just the sheer confusion because I know full well I can't even touch my toes, let alone any of those stretches that she showed me. I guess I'll head back to the house with Cal.
For sure. You head back, and Cal is a pretty small fire at this point. Seems to be like his version of slumbering.
I'll set a couple of logs that like aren't like on him, but like near enough that he'd grab them if he wants them when he wakes up.
Yeah, you set a couple of logs nearby very carefully, and you actually see that like even though you were very gentle and quiet about it, he sort of like slowly moves over to them and starts consuming them. Whether or not he's conscious of it, who's to say?
Damn, that's cute. Fuck.
I'm just imagining when you put like a treat near a cat's face and it's asleep.
It's just like
That's exactly what I was thinking too. I was like, it's just a cat getting a treat. This is all this is.
why
And
get a
Kenneth
cat
was-
when you can get a fire elemental?
Kenneth, was there anything else that you wanted to do specifically about preparing for the journey, or is this kind of the rest of this day? Because we do have another day as well.
I think I'm going to write out the. I don't know if there's anything specifically that I needed to prep for this. I think my whole job was to get myself healthy enough that I won't be a detriment to the group for when we eventually go and confront them.
For sure.
Might have to come to terms with the fact that we'll be going towards the dead man's hand as a group, but that's a task for tomorrow, Kenneth. And today, Kenneth is just going to focus on not shitting himself and throwing up till he dies.
Fair.
Constitution.
And at that, can you give me another con save?
I can.
Crit fail.
It was close. It's gonna be a 7.
Oh fuck.
So you are resting and relaxing for probably about an hour. You're doing all right. Doing pretty good. You decide that maybe you could try to have a little bit of food. And
Immediately.
about 3 bites in, it all comes flying out right in the house, too. And at that,
Now, if
prospective-
Cal was like a dog, that vomit would have been cleaned up already. But he's
True.
not. He's like a cat.
Prospective Pete, you've been leafing through this stuff, making great notes. You're going to get that advantage on any of the crafting you decide to do later. Is there anything else you want to do in Reginald's Manor?
In Reginald's Manor, no.
Got you. So you head on out and back to town.
Perfect. So would the mines be accessible for me to go into?
So there are a series of different mining operations. Carrion Canyon has its own. Red Canyon has its own. And these mountains around do have one. There's an entrance about 20 minutes behind the mayor's house, just walking through kind of a narrow trail. So you would be able to make your way out there.
Perfect. I'll head over to that one.
Gotcha. I won't make you roll to navigate there. It's pretty simple. You couldn't really miss it. And you, as you approach the mouth of this old mine, memories just start flooding back to you. It looks almost exactly the same as it did before. The only difference is there's a few extra mine carts lying around, and there's some extra boxes and bins and supplies. But this is that same mine that you stepped into day after day after day, in good health, in bad health, with fond memories and awful memories, when you came bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the beginning, and when you kept rolling in effectively an indentured servant to the company store time after time before you were transported.
Perfect. So I imagine that I would be looking at this from the perspective of somebody who is back to being the bright-eyed and bushy-tailed person.
Gotcha.
As I'm walking up to it, I take a few steps, just walking like a normal pace, but then slowly I start to build up to just a full-on sprint as I go directly into the mines, knowing that I should know exactly where everything is, at least initially, and I'm taking off in there at incredible speed to get to where I think I can find some sort of materials, because now I'm excited.
Awesome. Can you give me a history check with advantage?
Okay.
I will say
Nat
this is part of your
20.
personal history. You cannot believe how little this place has changed. Clearly, the operation must have stopped not long after you were transported. It is exactly as you remember. A lot of the old veins that had just recently been opened up have hardly even been dug into. They had been recently when you left, recently discovered. And yeah, so my question for you is, what types of materials are you trying to gather, and what are you planning on creating? And that'll kind of help determine what we get.
Perfect. So I want precious metals that are kind of more solid. I'm looking for like steel, copper, iron, things like that. Or I guess not steel, but copper and iron. Any sort of malleable rocks and clay, and I guess like valuable items like gold would be interesting to stumble upon as well, or any gemstones, just because I know that that can help me with my path. I think my plan from here is to get at least one of my legs just completely replaced in the near future.
Gotcha. So yeah, let's say you grab a pickaxe. Edbert is also excited and grabs a tool and starts following you to learn how to actually extract these resources. And for the rest of the day and deep into the night, just because you don't really know what time it is or probably care at this point, you go about gathering supplies. You do end up with buckets of copper, iron, clay, gold, even a couple of gemstones. And just to make this easy, I'm going to say that you come out of there with, let's say, enough raw materials for at least 3 projects. So that could be 3 different limbs, a limb, a weapon, an armor, whatever.
Perfect. And what kind of gemstones were there?
Why don't you pick 2 gemstones?
I pick.
Yeah.
If I'm
You should pick a
picking-
diamond worth at least 1,000 gold pieces.
No, I want an emerald and I want a sapphire.
Gotcha.
He's gonna use them to replace his nuts.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I'm excited to see Prospect Pete turn into the fucking Terminator, man.
There's a whole new meaning to family jewels.
I'm excited for every single character to end up losing a limb. To have
That would
you
be
all like
awful.
assemble the Megazord with your individual limbs.
Oh no! Oh god, I miss Power Rangers.
Hey, I got dibs on one of the arms. Ain't no way I'm gonna be a leg.
Perfect. So with that, I will head into town. I'll take some of the clay that I'd gotten, and I'll rub that on Edbert's forehead or forehead area, and then I'll take my cloth, spray him down a little bit, or dab it with some water, and then wipe it off of him. And then I'll head to bed.
All right. So yeah, you get out in the wee hours of the night, but you end up with like 3 barrels full of materials that you just kind of roll up to the smithy. And you just leave a note like, Pete's materials, please do not touch. Leave it on there. Or maybe actually, Pete might not say that. You
Yeah,
just
no,
leave
Pete
those
would
barrels
not. Pete would be like materials.
there. That's fair. So yeah, you set those there. You just carve materials into one of the barrels, and then you head back and head to sleep. Wayne, anything else that you want to do before this day is out?
Wayne's gonna go try to figure out how the hell he can get 30 gold within the week because he can't really do bounties right now. So I guess maybe go talk to the sheriff or the mayor. I don't know who's gonna have a better idea of what needs work done that I can get paid to do.
Y'all
Of thing.
try working for a change?
So fucking rude.
I do a lot of work. What are you talking about?
Try work.
Shun Sui is a lazy ass.
That's true. Also,
Yeah,
you
and
all
Sensu's
see
got the most gold.
you all see throughout the day that Shun Sui and Slim have actually been spending a good amount of time together on one of the platforms. Shun Sui is mostly like shading himself and just like hanging out while he tells Slim to do things. Telling Slim to do incredibly difficult tasks like stand on top of a pole that you're balancing, various activities. Some of them are also clearly just like feed me this food. Very Mr. Miyagi, Karate Kid type stuff.
What's Law doing? Is he still grilling?
Law continues to grill for the people. A couple people have started on the first house. Or no, wait. The celebration is still going for these 2 days. So yeah, Law's still grilling. Most of the townsfolk are hanging out, doing fun games and whatnot. And the town is abuzz with stuff.
Could Wayne win money from said games?
Could certainly try.
I
I'm sure
gotta
you
do
could
something.
find a gambling ring or two.
That's what I'm worried about. Let's. Oh, God. DM, help me out here. What should I don't know what. Wayne wants to get it honestly, but honestly, he really wants this horse. He's co attached to Thunder.
Well, I will remind you, Wayne, that this is going to be a 3 days journey there, probably a 3 days journey back, but that the merchants did say you'd be able to keep a piece of jewelry, and they said they had pretty good stuff, so you may well be able to just trade one of those pieces of jewelry you get from the Carrion Canyon journey. However, if you would like to try to win some money in the games, I'm cool with that too, and we can do that.
Let's try a game real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Wayne will probably do the jewelry thing too, but he's just working. It's a 3 days out, 3 days back. I have a week to get back to the. I should talk to that Charles fellow again, probably. What are the odds he'll still be there when we get back? Like if it's
He said he'd be around for probably about 2 weeks, so
2 weeks. Okay, I thought it was just 1 week.
it was
Okay,
just the week for the discounted price.
Okay, I'll make it work.
Okay. Did you want to try a game?
Let's try a game. Wayne
for sure.
Wayne was having a good day. He met a new friend. And while Wayne's walking over, he's just kind of fidget with that locket he's got of the picture of his wife and his daughter. He's kind of fidgeting with lately because he's starting to open up a little bit, and he's feeling very self-conscious about opening up a little bit about his dead family.
For sure. So after that talk that you had with the horse merchant and you're going away, your mind filling with ideas of how you might be able to pay for it because you really feel a connection to Thunder, you start rubbing your chest a little bit, kind of scratching it, and then you feel the locket. You realize you haven't really thought about the locket for quite a while. Talking about your daughter and your wife and moving them out here. You pull it out from under your shirt. You look at it for a moment, and it's a really lovely picture of them. Your wife is holding your daughter. She's mostly a toddler at that point, but she's looking down with so much love, and your daughter is looking back up with just this big, goofy grin with only a couple of teeth. And it's a bittersweet moment. You remember that day. You remember how fun it was. You remember the look in both of their eyes and the sound of your daughter's laughter just echoing through the one-room house.
I kind of look at it, and he's just staring at it. He's like, "Sorry, ladies, I should have gotten there faster." I close the locket.
You close the locket, and you see there's quite a ruckus going on, again, near the mayor's manor. A lot of people are cheering, and as you move over there, you see that a bunch of people are blindfolded in sort of a penned-in area, and there is a greased-up hog just running around in there.
Wayne kind of laughs at this. He's done something similar in his youth, and he's looking around, and he's like, talks to the nearest person. He's like, "How does someone get into this? How to?"
Oh, just hop in. There'll be another round here soon. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Wayne's gonna get in line because from his youth he was able to do it. He's gonna see if he still has it in him or not.
Gonna slip a disc here. Yeah. So
I mean, Wayne's like 46, so it's how old is Wayne actually? Hold on, I just remember how old I made him. 34. Sorry, 34.
Gotcha. So Wayne, you see the round that's going on end, and the person who had won this round actually is Backbreaker Buchanan. You see him. He holds the pig up. He sets it down. He flexes a couple of times. Oh, beats his chest. And he says, "No one can defeat the Backbreaker."
I'm just sitting there clapping. I'm making sure he can see me too. Just
Lucky charm. Come on.
I go over there. I shake it. I gotta keep this gig up, so I do the Viking shake with him.
Yeah, he Viking shakes. However, the grip slips off because he's also just really greased up at this point. And he says, "You want to play?"
Oh, I want to play.
And he takes off his bandana. He puts it on you, and he says, "I've got 20 gold on Wayne."
That's a lot of money.
Fuck. I look at Backbreaker. I go, "You know how old I am, right?"
That's what I'm counting on. Age before beauty. And he slaps you on the ass and walks out.
Are Backbreaker and I canonically fucking now? Is that what's happening? All right, Wayne's gonna kind of walk with the blindfold, kind of get himself in there.
Yep. You hear everyone counting 3, 2, 1. And it starts. The hog squeals. You can't see anything. And you just got to go for it. So,
can I use? Would like tracking an animal be considered animal handling or survival?
I will allow either.
I'm gonna go with survival then, if that's all right with you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Sometimes you gotta hunt at night and you can't see much, man.
Right? Not 20!
Wayne, you did do this as a kid. And as soon as you get that blindfold on and you hear that pig squeal, something takes over. You dive. You full speed dive. Not where it was, but your best guess as to where it's going. You nail it immediately. Wrap your arms and legs around it. Fully wrap around this thing like you're a net. You're around that thing. Everyone's freaking out. Oh, we've never seen. Someone comes up. The mayor actually comes up to you and says, I believe that is a new record.
Whew. It's been a minute since I've done something like that.
Backbreaker comes up. He's laughing. And he slaps you on the back. And then he grabs your hand and puts something in it. 10 gold pieces. And he says, you just made me 40 gold.
Whew. Well, I'm a little bit closer to what I gotta do. Thanks,
Can we
Backbreaker.
talk about how Wayne has used all of his luck in this session, or not this session, but like this campaign, on all these stupid games with these fucking gang members? Like, cards? Best hand I could get. Catching a hog in one grab.
Somebody check his blindfold.
It wasn't on all the way.
Oh, I would cry. I'd be so upset.
While you look at that money, you look at Buchanan, and you hear someone from the crowd start chanting, Big King, Big King, Big King, Big King.
Oh, man. I slapped the pig on the ass. All right, well, I'm 10 gold closer to what I need to get.
And that, I think we'll leave the first day, so you all kind of go about your business for the rest of the day.
That was something. My God. Fuck.
This is the magic of D&D. So yeah, y'all go
what
back.
What other game
sleep.
you gonna play where you can grab a greased up hog?
I'll tell you where I can go greased up hog.
So yeah, you all have a great night's sleep. Prospector Pete, you're the last one to make it to camp, but you settle down for the night and you all wake up the next day. Kenneth, you're feeling pretty good. You only woke up a couple of times to vomit and or have diarrhea.
Thank God.
Yeah, you actually crossed paths with Pete on your way back from having diarrhea kind of far off. As Pete's coming in from his gathering, foraging, mining operation.
I'll give him the universal dude like.
Oh God!
In response, clutch up my fist like he's about to deck me. Like I'm gearing up for a fight.
Are you all right?
My apologies. I thought you were going to rock my world, if I'm being quite honest with you.
Why would I?
Well, you did the, and I check to make sure nobody's around, and then I look at him and I'm like,
no, you misunderstood. I did not a.
So you're not trying to murder me?
No. It's just I see you. How you doing? Kind of not.
Oh, I see. Very well. How are you doing? Anyways, I'm going to be going to bed now. I'm exhausted.
Do you use a different sign?
For what?
For just like a passing how you do?
Yes, but I went and did that one with one person when I had just gotten back, and I got a little mark on my cheek, and I reckon people do not appreciate it the same that they did back in the elemental plane of heat and fire.
Yeah, that's probably a safe assumption.
Yes.
All right. Well, good night.
Good night.
I guess I'm gonna walk away from this weirdo right now.
Yeah, you all head to bed.
DM,
Just
before we
thinking,
start,
Pete is a strange man.
One of the last things I think we just need to think about is how much do you all have in terms of like food and water supplies for an extended journey?
um,
Not a lot.
I mean, water we just kind of fill up as we go. Or is there gonna be water like there's gonna be like natural springs or something or
You're heading out deep into the desert, my friend.
Oh, good. I can track really well out there. It doesn't help with my water. So my water skin is full. I have 1 water skin. Rations I have enough for a day. So I'm gonna buy some rations.
Here's kind of just out of character here, a little planning bit amongst players. I personally plan on buying a second, possibly even a third water skin to carry on me, or if not on me, like maybe a bigger water skin to have on a horse if we're planning on horse trekking it out there,
Mm-hmm.
just so we have an extra water supply.
Wayne wakes up and he just comes downstairs like, or not downstairs. Is our house 1 or 2 stories?
One
Can't
story currently, I
Okay.
believe.
Wayne just gets up and just like walks around shirtless, just looking for like something like some water or something, trying to figure out where he put his water flask. Still grease on him from the pig from the night before.
Oh, good morning.
The Pig King requires water. Oh, that's right. You weren't there, Kenneth. I caught a greased up pig, broke a record, and now I'm the Pig King.
Oh, did you get a new a girlfriend?
Why you don't know of an elf out here?
I've met a couple, but
Well, maybe I'll have to go talk to him. Wayne's trying to be all cool and chill out, like, oh, I can go talk to a girl. He's like, I haven't talked to a woman since my wife has died.
so we have a bit of a trek ahead of us. Yeah.
Yeah, just a bit. I think it's 2 days, 3 days 3 days there. Probably a half a day to catch these bastards and 3 days back.
So
Okay,
would we plan for 2 weeks or?
About a week and a day. I'd say we should get rations for about 8 days would be enough.
8 days.
And if the journey takes longer, we thirst and die?
Okay, fair point, fair point, fair point, Pete, fair point. I guess we could. I think 2 weeks is a lot for rations, but week and
Do
a
you think
half maybe.
there might be a smarter way to go about getting rations on whether? Because if we're buying per our own rations, yeah, I could see that getting a little pricey. But what if we were to do kind of a bulk, like a larger quantity, and then we just kind of all eat the same kind of rations? You know, like
Get some bread, get some fruit.
a pound of oats goes a long way.
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the most efficient way would be for all of us to pool all of our gold and silver monies together, and we all provide for each other based on that pool. I believe that'd be the best way to make sure that nobody goes hungry.
I look around to see if is Shensui in here. Or is he off somewhere else right now?
Shunsui is here and has made it very clear that he really doesn't care and is not worried about this at all. He's just kind of chilling, like laying back.
Shensui, aren't you loaded?
He just looks over and shrugs.
That's pretty Sensai.
That sounds about right.
That sounds about right.
To avoid any sort of deception on my part, I would like you to know that I have virtually no money.
It's okay. I ain't got a lot either, and I got a horse I gotta get. Kenneth,
Y'all
I know we're talking.
need to get quite a bit better at pinching your pennies. Let me tell
Well,
you.
I had money, and then it was taken from me. So
By who?
the bastard I'm gonna kill when I find him.
Well, perhaps we could, and then I like motion for everybody to follow me, and I'll go out and show just the crates of materials, make sure that they're still there.
I'm gonna follow Peep. I'm gonna grab my shirt before I follow him outside.
You do
Honestly,
reek
it's
of
hot. It's
hard
hot
work.
enough. I don't even know.
Also, for those who are paying attention, Wayne's chest is just like scarred from like stab wounds and like a bullet hole and shit.
You all head over to the smithy. John Smith is there, just working on what he was working on before. He sees you all approach and he says, do you all know about these? And he points over to the barrels.
Damn, that's a lot of material. Where'd that come from?
I'll point at Edbert and say, He did most of the heavy lifting. All of this is ethically sourced based on the rules that you have provided me about how this place works. None of this material belongs to anybody. I was hoping that we, since we have brought it out of the mines, could perhaps do some sort of a trade deal where you can use some of these materials in exchange for us not starving when we go out on our journey.
You want to sell me some of these materials?
What?
I mean, I'll buy. I'll buy some of these materials from you.
Buy, yes, buy. That, yes.
Egbert like pulls on your pant leg and is just very like confusion.
I'll look at him. I'll tug my beard, and then do the sign that we had created for like property, single household.
Yes, no share community of one.
Yes.
What how many people are we taking on this trip right now?
We're taking Slim with us because I told him we'd take him again. So
Slim, Shun, Wayne, Kenneth, Pete. 5.
5? Okay.
Plus 5 horses.
Plus 5.
the sheriff's horses. I can't take Thundershot for a test ride. I can't wait to have that horse. I'm so excited about. I'm so happy about that horse. The fact that his name was Thunder, and used to call my daughter Little Lightning Bolt.
Horses need rations, right? They can't just.
We'll say they need like half as many rations as people.
Okay.
Actually, that doesn't make sense. Fantasy setting. Yeah.
Horses are really lean here.
The need for rations
They're all about eating
and water
salads.
is such a bother.
And Smith cracks open one of the barrels, looks, and he's like very taken aback by how much stuff is in here. And he says, for this barrel, I thought you said you wanted food?
Yes, we would need approximately enough rations to feed and water 5 people and a horse for about a week and a half of travel.
Oh, you're just taking one horse?
That's as far as I know.
Gotcha,
I heard
gotcha.
I
mention
think
of one
we
horse.
should. Well, we got enough horses from the sheriff for us to each have a horse, so we'll probably
I'll
have
tell you
5
what.
horses.
The cost of those rations versus the value of these materials, give me one of these barrels and I'll pay for however much food you need there for yourself and your horses for that week or week and a half.
Perfect, thank you. And then the other 2, one you can use for whatever you'd like in the meantime while we're gone. Think of it as a gift onto you, and then the other one I will hold steady for now. If you could avoid using it if possible, I've got some plans for it.
It's a very kind deal. I'll tell you what, I won't touch either. I've purchased this one from you. I'll just use it. This is more than enough materials to make a few things.
Purchased.
Did Pete like not do like purchasing 10 years ago before he left?
He probably didn't have very much money. Oh yeah, good.
So he bartered, but he got basically no money, and it was all handled for him by his handlers or caretakers. So he didn't really deal with money transactions in the community where he grew up.
Okay.
It was like a homestead. So.
Oh, okay.
Because my character's so good with numbers, I did the math for us, gentlemen. If we're looking for based on ration prices, ration days for 14 for just the people. You're looking at about 3 gold pieces and 50 silver pieces for 14 days. Horses, with that being half, for 5 horses, I rounded it out to 12 and a half. And that's about 1 gold piece, 75 silver pieces. So altogether for rations, we're looking at 5 gold pieces and 25 silver pieces. Plus, to get everyone an extra water skin would be another 10 silver pieces. So we're looking at 5 and 35.
This has got to be like a really good deal for the smithy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So we're all out of character. Are we good with these numbers? Are we gonna do this?
Yeah,
Okay.
y'all are good. You relay that information to Smith, and he hands over the gold for that. And let's say he even throws in like 5 extra gold because it's still an amazing deal on his end. And he
Perfect.
says this should cover the expenses of those rations. And here's another 5 gold for you all in case you need some other specialty item.
When you say you all, you mean per person, or you mean just water, just 5 gold?
So, like a 10 gold deal.
Yeah, sure, 5 each. I still think that the value of the materials is like way more than that. So yeah, everyone gets 5 gold there.
Sick.
Awesome.
Closer to getting my boy Thunder. I'm at 24 gold right now. I'm so close.
So he pretty much gave us 5 gold to cover rations, and then 5 gold
Each.
each. And
Yeah.
so we just pretty much all have to pitch in around 35 silver pieces between the 5 of us to get the rest of our rations and water skins, which is fucking nothing.
Yep.
So we'll
If
be
y'all want to
alright.
just do that math, awesome. So you all head out. You get supplies from Dr. Victoria, and a couple other people around town. She probably doesn't have enough supplies, but you can kind of go around and people will sort of you give them some gold. They wrap some nuts and cheese and meats, and a couple of different families pitch in because you're paying a very hefty price for it all, and you are able to gather that many materials.
DM question for you.
Yes.
How are we doing stuff from our chest versus stuff in our backpack? Are we leaving our chests here? Like, if I want something from my chest, should I put it in my backpack now? Kind of deal.
Yes, I would recommend the chest is just kind of the idea of this is like what you have at home, you know.
Okay, I'm gonna put some of the stuff with me
Gotcha.
then.
And keep in mind, you will each have a horse. Let's actually move to that. So you all head over to the sheriff's office. You told Sheriff Hanley you'd be going out on this trip. And he, has 6 different horses to choose from. I will let you all choose the horses because I actually had time to draw them up here. So, like I said, there are 6 horses. They're all pretty standard. They give small benefits here and there. The first one is a sleek black horse. It's got a pretty shiny coat, and its name's Rascal. There is a sweet-natured Palomino mare with a pretty soft coat, which is called Buttercup. There's Billy, a fiery red mare who is very spirited and strong-willed. Snowflake, a white mare who's pretty calm. Lucky, a chestnut gelding. And, there's only 5.
Wayne's gonna go up to Billy and be like, "You want to ride fast? You want to ride slow?"
Taps its hoof a couple of times.
I grab a carrot out of my bag and give it to Billy. Like, all right, fast it is.
It grabs it and just starts like waving its head up and down before even biting into it, and then
Can I approach the least intimidating looking horse?
that would be either Buttercup or Snowflake.
Let's, you know what? I'll roll a d4. 3 and 4 will be Snowflake. 1 and 2 will be Buttercup. Alright, I'm gonna approach Buttercup.
Awesome. Buttercup just sees you coming and very carefully picks her way towards you. And yeah, she just looks at you. She's a pretty still horse.
What's Lucky doing?
Lucky is being weird. Sees you approach, kind of walks sideways past you all to kind of check you all out as a group. Continues to walk sideways, like in a perimeter around you all, and is bobbing the head, bringing it back and forth, sort of.
And
then
walk
it comes
sideways
up.
up to Lucky.
Yeah. You walk up sideways up to Lucky, and Lucky headbutts you gently.
At this point, I will look at Lucky and meet its gaze. I'm gonna tug at my beard while meeting its gaze, and then put my hand up towards its mane, and then tug its mane a little bit.
You do that, and it shakes its mane out, and then just like puts like leans up against you with quite a bit of weight.
I'm gonna lean back. I'm a big dude.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me an athletics check here.
Okay. That's a +0. 14.
14. Yeah, you hold your own, and he's not able to push you over, though it's pretty clear that he's trying to, but in like a fun way, and just kind of like bobs his head, and then leans back. Shunsui will go ahead and hop on Snowflake, the white mare, and at this point, Slim is with you, and he just goes over and grabs who's left. I forget. Oh, he hops on Rascal, the black horse.
Seems fitting for Slim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I turn to Kenneth and I go, "Hey Kenneth, you leave Cal at home, or is he coming with us?"
Cal's going to watch the homestead.
All
so
right.
he'll not be accompanying us.
Did you leave him some firewood?
I mean, if he gets too bored, he can eat the house.
Fair enough.
All right. So Kenneth, Buttercup is very sweet and well mannered. So whenever you make an animal handling check with Buttercup specifically, you're gonna just get advantage on that.
Nice.
Wayne,
Good.
Bill is pretty fiery, pretty fast.
Mhm.
So you can choose to make a con save throw once per long rest. If you succeed, you'll get a +3 to any strength or dexterity based skill. It's a one-time use. So if you can handle his toughness in that moment, you'll be able to, have a better chance of succeeding at like athletics, acrobatics, or anything like
Is
that.
that short rest or long rest? You said
Short rest. And Pete, lucky is lucky. You'll get one use of the lucky feat. So while you're riding him, if you roll, actually, it's not the lucky feat. If you roll a 5 or below on a skill that has to do with maneuvering him, you can choose once per long rest to just re-roll that.
It's pretty good.
And if someone wants to tell Shunsui, Snowflake just eats very little, and so requires half of the resources a normal horse would need.
Nice. Okay.
What's the terrain like around us?
desert, baby.
Yeah. Right now it's where the grassland kind of breaks up and it's starting to become almost a full desert.
Okay.
And you can
Yeah.
assume that within a day or two it will just be straight up desert.
And then we have saddles for our horses already?
Yep, the horses already have pretty standard saddles on them.
Can
I'm gonna-
I see if I can find someplace that has like goggles or something?
Goggles. Dr. Victoria would probably be your best bet there.
I'll go check that then, and then Colton can finish what he's saying.
I'm gonna rip up a lot of the longer grass that's around, and then maybe some like clay or anything that's like malleable around me, and try to fashion a saddle for Edbert.
All right. That's just going to be, we'll say you're using like your smith's tools for this or something along those lines. So it's a intelligence check and then add your proficiency bonus because you're crafting stuff.
Okay. Crit fail.
Crit fail. You very quickly realize that trying to create a sidecar for him basically out of some clay and some grass and whatnot is just not going to work for how bulky he is. So you, as you're gathering materials, actually just scrap the idea, and you think about it for a minute. You're like, you could probably just shove him into one of the saddle bags. He gets pretty small.
Okay.
Kenneth, you remember that there were a few pairs of goggles that you saw. She was actually wearing a pair of goggles as she left you in the tube for a little while. So she sees you coming in pretty right away, and she's like, hello, how are you feeling?
Honestly, just feeling better than a prawn in a fresh cold stream,
I don't know, no.
Okay. Well, I need goggles.
Oh,
Do you happen to have an extra pair I might be able to purchase off you?
will you bring them back?
Uh, if I pay for them, no. If you let me borrow them, then yeah.
You can't pay for them. These are hard to find. And she grabs some, chucks them at you. She says, bring them back.
Okay.
They're
And
hard to find, but she just chucks them at him.
And these are pretty thick glasses. There's kind of like an elastic band, and they just have a little bit of like a silver trim around the outside where it's like away from your eyes.
guys, I think I might start liking Dr. Victoria a little bit. She's kind of okay.
Ooh, got a crut.
And we're gonna head out.
All right. So let's get into it then, gentlemen. You all make your way out the north side of the city. There are still festivities going on. This is the last day, and it seems like they're kind of running out of ideas of stuff to do. So it's mostly just people lounging, taking the day to relax. Some of the townsfolk see you leaving. They wave to you. There's some well wishes, hoping that you'll
Bow
come
to the
back.
Pig King.
Bow to the Pig King. Yeah, a couple of kids are like, Big King, Pig King.
I waved to him.
Oh, he waved to me. No, he waved to me. And they I have received the blessing of the Pig King.
I let a pig squeal though.
And they all start reeing.
This might be my new favorite thing. Oh god. Fuck.
So yeah, the way we're going to do this overland travel is each day will be 2 different skills checks. It is a skills challenge, so we'll go in an initiative order.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to do 6 total checks, and if you get more good checks, more successes than failures, you show up potentially with some advantages or in a good situation. If you get more failures than otherwise, the opposite, right?
All
right. So everyone, roll me initiative real quick. So you'll do 6 total checks. If you all hit 3 failures, then whichever person did is going to add an extra day onto the journey.
Oh,
that's
no.
the penalty here. So if everyone gets their 4, 6, you just got to get 4 successes. If you get 4 successes, you're good. We're not slowed down at all. If you get 3 failures, you're going to add an extra day onto what's going on. So for the first day, what is everyone doing? General skill checks rules apply. You can't use the same thing the person before you used, and you can't use the same skill you used last round.
Mm-hmm.
So
I guess I'm taking the lead on this, huh?
Yep.
Alrighty. I guess I will just take a perception, kind of see how the terrain ahead of us looks, kind of see if we're heading into anything too terrible or if there's something we could avoid.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a 17 plus whatever my perception is, 2, so 19.
19, gotcha. You set out on a dusty, windswept trail that leads deeper into the outback. The grassy plains begin to give way to a more barren landscape with hard-packed earth and scattered cacti. The sun beats down mercilessly, making it hard to see very far in the distance. However, with that roll of a 17, that is going to be a success. Your first success for the morning. So, Pete, you begin the day by really scouting out. You have those goggles that actually help. They shade your eyes a little bit. So, sorry, not Pete, Kenneth.
I was like, wait a sec.
I had goggles in my head, and I was like, that's a Pete thing. Kenneth, for the morning here, you're kind of the one who's taking point because the sun is out and so bright. And you're able to see pretty well. The goggles help you a bit. And you have seen this type of terrain before. You've run with a gang before. Never deep into the desert, but you've been along these kind of borderlands before. Next up, Wayne, what are you doing?
I am proficient with this terrain.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna do a survival check.
Sure.
And
Yep.
just kind of get a vibe of like what's around us, what we could use to help if we need resources, what kind of cacti we can cut open, drink some cactus juice like Sokka,
For sure.
my
Yeah.
boy.
Take an inventory of what's going on around you, the resources available. Absolutely.
That is a 21.
A 21. That is
17
Wayne's
plus 4.
first success. So Kenneth takes the lead here. Because he's able to lead the group, Wayne, you're able to devote more of your time and attention to really getting a good mental map of what's in the area, of recognizing, you see a couple of jackrabbits run, and you say, okay, so if I need to hunt, I will be able to do that. You recognize, yes, I could cut open some of those cactuses. Those are totally safe. You even see a few like insects and snakes on the ground here, and you're like, okay, this place is full of life, and there are many ways that we could get more resources if need be, if it really came down to it. Pete.
Cool.
So I am going to kind of survey the area that we're at, see if I can notice any tracks for how people have previously moved through this area, to see if I can kind of determine what the best and most common route would be.
Gotcha.
So that would be investigation.
Yes.
That's a 9.
That's a 9. Okay. So, Pete, you have, even when you lived on this plane of reality, you had never ventured this far out. So you have the idea, well, people must travel here. There must be some signs of them. You don't realize that the shifting of this desert and sands, tracks appear and disappear rather quickly. You devote a lot of time and energy to trying to see, was that a trail? You kind of stop the party, at times be like, wait, I just really need to investigate this. And it usually ends up wasting a few minutes here, a few minutes there. At worst, maybe a half an hour, but you don't waste a ton of time. However, that is your first failure. So the morning goes by pretty well with only a few stoppages for Pete to try and see if what he is seeing is actually a set of tracks. And as you move into midday, you stop, you have some of your rations, and then you continue on with your journey. Does anyone... Oh, actually not does anyone. I will remind you, you can use any of your mount's abilities during this overland travel sequence if it is applicable. And yeah, their bonuses will stack for this. Moving into the midday and then afternoon, Kenneth, what are you doing during the second half of this day?
Second half of the day. I think I'm going to lie to the group, and I'm gonna tell them, oh, not much further. We're just gonna keep going just a little bit, just a little up around that ridge, and then we'll rest with obvious intention of like we're just gonna keep going in my head, but just to keep the
You're
morale
kind of leading them a trail of like white lies to keep morale up.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
It's going to be a 12 plus, is it 15?
A 15, yes. You, as the day continues on, are saying these little things like, oh, we only need to make it over that ridge. Oh, we're making excellent time. I think we might be able to cut this down to 2 days, maybe 2.5 at worst. And everyone seems to be believing it. You all are feeling pretty good about this. You think you're making great time. Wayne, you are up.
Wayne is gonna see. He's gonna take Billy out for a little test run. See how fast Billy can go and how quick he can stop without, hurting us. Do a little animal handling.
Awesome. Yep, go ahead.
That's a 19.
19. You decide to really for a good chunk of the morning, Billy has clearly been wanting to really hit top speed or just do something. He seems very interested by what's around, looking around a lot, and you let him. You go ahead and you loosen up on the reins, you sort of give him a slap and you give him the go ahead, and he runs. You all watch as Wayne shoots forward. Wayne, you kind of go in some winding sort of serpentine path to let him get it out of his system. You run around, run back, and this horse is fast. And not just fast, but he can turn almost on a dime. Like,
Yeah.
there's a couple of times he almost throws you, and you can tell he's kind of trying to. But you are able to handle it very well. You watch as you see him start to lean one way, or his head. He has a tell. His head turns one way. You sort of lean to that side as he's about to twist. Pete?
So when I was studying in that person's personal library earlier, did I notice any maps of this, like, out near Boomtown area that I can recall upon?
You did?
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna do a history check and see if I can recall any sort of, like, documented obstacles or things that we should avoid on our way out there.
Absolutely, and since you had done that research prior, it's going to be with advantage.
Can I just say 10 out of 10 use of fucking history there? Because I feel like that never gets used. It's like that and animal handling, like, rarely get fucking touched.
Oh, it's good I had advantage. So that would be unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20, very nice. He actually had a map that stretched from the top of Boomtown all the way up to the Carrion Canyon and surrounding areas. The main thing that you notice, or that you remember, is that at a certain point, your path will probably pass right by Ghost Town. Likely in between here and there, things are going to get much more canyony. There's going to be more narrow passes. There's a lot of altitude changes and like game trails that you'll have to travel on.
Okay, I'll relay all the information to the rest of the group.
Gotcha. So yep, that is a success, Pete. You start telling everyone, there's a lot of canyons and narrow, potentially dangerous areas coming up, and Ghost Town is a place that you may well pass by. And Slim, when you mention Ghost Town, actually, he says, I was hoping we could avoid it.
Is Slim
Well,
afraid of them ghosts?
Slim, we ain't gotta go in there. We can just go past it. We're not gonna go through it, I don't think, right? Pete, we have to go through it. We're just gonna go past it.
We will be traveling past it. It would give us an opportunity to head in that direction if we so pleased, but it's apparent this child is a little bit frightened by the idea of it, and perhaps
Not
it's the spooky
frightened.
name. It's okay to be scared. It happens to all living creatures. It's a perfectly normal thing. When I wake up in the morning, I'm terrified of my own mortality. It's something that we have to wrestle with day in and day out.
All right, Pete. All right, I think we're all good. Heat's getting to us a little bit. We'll avoid Ghost Town, and we're all good. All right.
All right.
Slim, you don't gotta worry about Ghost Town. It's all right.
Let's just give it a wide berth. There's bad stories coming from out that way.
What kind of stories? Oh no, I don't want to hear it. Let's just keep going. Wide berth around Ghost Town.
All right, so you all finish out the night with a pretty good idea of where you're headed, what challenges you're going to face. You all sit around the campfire. It's probably pretty safe. There's not a lot of people out here, and you got to keep out the coyotes and whatnot that wander at night. You set up camp, and I assume you all probably take watch or something. I won't make you roll for that. It's going to be a pretty uneventful night for this first one. Around the campfire, did anyone end up asking about Ghost Town or no? It's okay if not.
Wayne kind of shut it down, but
Yeah,
if
that's
someone
fine.
wants to
We'll
bring
leave
it
it
up
with that.
again.
We'll leave it with that. No.
I just
like
love
it better.
that Slim's like, I'm kind of afraid of ghosts. And then Pete's like, yeah, I'm afraid with the fact that I'm going to die one day. Like, it's terrifying every day.
As soon as Pete said that, Wayne's like, Wayne, Slim's got a lot going on. Let's not do this.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to end up like your father one day. Dead.
Stop that. Stop that. No. Poor Slim. Oh, God.
So, you all go to sleep. Shunsui is taking the first watch.
That's a terrible idea, but okay.
No, actually, Sensui taking the first watch is the best idea because that is when he's the least tired and least likely to be like, fuck it, I'm just going to go to bed and not take watch.
Good point.
So I'd
good
rather
point.
him get it out of the way first.
No, that's a good point.
So, you all head to bed. Pete and Kenneth, you all have pretty standard dreams, nothing too odd. However, Wayne.
Oh, fuck. Does
Oh.
Edgar get a watch? Oh.
Yes, Edbert can get a watch if you like. In fact, he can take first watch. So, Wayne,
Oh no.
As you begin to drift off to sleep, images start to appear in your mind. First, a raven, then a wagon train, and then your wife holding your daughter, Little Lightning Bolt, when she was just the tiniest baby girl. That image lingers in your mind for a moment. You see your wife smiling at you. You hear your daughter laughing, that infectious laughter of hers. And then the image starts to fade and change. Now before you hovers a black revolver with 6 shots. It's fully loaded with glistening white bullets. And balanced on the barrel of the gun is a silver coin. You watch as the cylinder turns and clicks. You're younger now, lying in bed beside a beautiful young elf woman, Celia, or Syl. She's very slight. She's often smiling as if she was in on a joke that no one else knows. But right now, she's not smiling. You can tell she's wanted to tell you something all day. And she looks at you and she says, Wayne, I'm with child. What are we gonna do? My father's gonna kill me.
He doesn't have to know. We'll figure something out. We can run away. He'll be fine. He won't know.
Run away, Wayne? What are you talking about?
I don't know. Just I mean, he doesn't kill you. He's gonna kill me.
I don't know.
Are you sure?
Sure.
There's gotta be something we can do
What do you mean something we can do?
to make him not kill me.
I don't know. I guess we could get married.
Yeah, that seems like the most likely option. For now, we'll sleep on it tonight. And first thing in the morning, we'll let him know, and we'll take care of it. It'll be okay.
So, at that point, the dream fades. And then you find yourself standing before a windowsill. You stood at the windowsill, you've lit your cigarette, and then you see it. Sat there. A silver coin. It's calling to you.
I grab the coin.
You look at it. It doesn't seem to be a normal silver coin. It's got a skull on one side. It's got some sort of bird on the other. But when you pick it up, you know you have to make a decision here. You can make an honest woman out of Syl, or you can skip town. You don't got much keeping you here. Heads, stay with her. Tails, you leave. Go ahead and flip a coin for me, Wayne.
Tails.
Tails. Just like you remember it. The vision fades. You see that cylinder of the revolver again, and it turns. You're a bit older. You're riding into a new town, and the memory of Syl is still painfully fresh in your heart. You hear a series of gunshots and the beating of hooves as a man wearing a bandana around his mouth is barreling towards you. Behind him, you hear a deputy shout, "Stop him! I heard 6 shots. He can't fire."
I'm gonna take a shot at him.
All right, roll it.
Nothing mortally wounding, just enough to get him to stop.
Yeah, go ahead and roll the d20 there. Just roll a regular attack.
Regular attack. Oh, drop to the carpet. Do you want to play it as it was on the carpet, or reroll?
Yeah, roll it again.
Move my notepad so I have more room on my desk. That's gonna be 10, 12, 14.
14. You hit him, knock him off his horse, and he tumbles forward. The lawman rides up. He sees what happened. He says, "Good work, son. You new to town?"
Yeah. Just got in this morning.
We could use a man like you at the sheriff's office. Plenty of work for a young man with some iron in him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about the law. He says, sweating through his teeth, sweating profusely.
I tell you what, kid, this is a big decision. Think it over for the night, and maybe in the saloon, we'll share a drink, and we can talk it out.
All right. Wayne's gonna look at the coin again and say, "Give me a hand."
You
Heads I
look
take it,
down and-
tails I don't.
Yep.
That was a terrible flip. Hold on. Heads.
All right. You flip the coin. It comes up heads. The vision around you dissolves, and click, the revolver turns again. Years have passed. You can finally grow that beard. It's a little patchy, but Darva likes it that way. She's a sturdy woman, a strong wood elf, fierce and loyal to a fault. She's taught you a thing or two about tracking and navigating the wastes of the outback near this settlement. You've been courting her for a few months now, properly courting her. And her father loves you. He did ever since you helped him catch that bandit your first day in town. You saved a bit of money and you're thinking about buying a plot of land. But you're not sure you're ready to settle down. And sometimes when you're with Darva, you still think about Syl's smile. You always said you'd go back, make an honest woman out of her, and maybe you could still be a father to your child. You never knew your father, and you swore you'd never be like that. Why don't you flip the coin? Heads,
Step away from the TV.
you stay with Darva, you propose. Tails, you go back for Syl.
Heads.
Heads, all right. So far, this is working out swimmingly. This is actually doing what your backstory did.
I know, right? It's crazy.
All right, so it lands heads. You stay, you decide to propose. The cylinder turns again and clicks into place. Years pass, and you've never known pain like this. You hurt so bad, and you've hurt so long, you went numb. Then you were numb so long, you forgot what it was to hurt. You're standing on the edge of a cliff, your locket in your hand, and the face of your wife and daughter looking back at you through the picture. They're smiling, but you can feel their disappointment, their fear, their pain. You weren't there. You weren't there when you needed you. Why weren't you there? You have a choice to make. You can step off this cliff. Or you can go after the man that killed him. The wind whistles, a raven caws, and you look down in your other hand to see the coin there. Flip it. Heads, you jump. Tails, you go after.
Heads.
You start to step off the cliff. Then you hear in your head a gunshot. In front of you, the spectral black revolver. One of the bullets fire. And then things go backwards in time. You see the coin go from having landed in your hand up, spinning. It stops, freezes, and a black raven flies by and tips the coin to the other side. It plays back at normal speed, hits your hand, and it's tails. The cylinder turns. You see it's now missing a bullet, and the vision fades. Years pass. You've come to start over, or at least that's half the truth. The other half is that you spent years on his trail, following the smallest lead, overcoming every dead end, and now you're so close. You made it to Boomtown. Before you can ask too many questions, someone's been shot and you're riding off with a teenager, a samurai, a priest, and a metal lawman. Kind of sounds like a bad joke. You capture the thief, but he says something that strikes a nerve. He lost his wife and his daughter. And before you even reach into your pocket, you see the coin there. Flip it.
Tails.
Tails. You want to let him go. You hear the gunshot again. The Spectral Revolver appears in front of you. Another bullet is gone. Again, time reverses. It stops. The raven comes from the other direction, flips it over. Heads. You're going to let this happen. The cylinder turns. There are now 2 bullets missing. Now your vision is blurrier than it's ever been. You're in a dark place lit by greens, purples, and blues. You've never seen light this color before. You can feel your comrades around you, Shunsui, Kenneth, Slim, and Pete, and you're standing over that son of a bitch, Lotdale. But when you look at him, you can feel his fear, his pain. You feel like it's your own. Like your loss and his loss are one and the same. You feel yourself raising your axe above your head, or maybe your palm pistol, or maybe your marksman's prize. The weight of it shifts and morphs in your right hand, but in your left hand is the only thing that is certain in this vision: the coin. Everything else is a blur, a haze. It doesn't feel real yet. Can you flip that coin for me?
Heads.
You kill him. And the cylinder turns. You're standing before the Spectral Revolver in a place of complete darkness. 2 shots were fired, and 4 bullets remain. They glisten in a strange light, as if you're looking at it through a fire. And then you're shaken awake by Edbert.
Huh? What? Oh, what is it?
He taps you. He points to where he was sitting, and then he walks over and sits down next to Pete.
Oh, my watch, right. I grab my rifle and I kind of shake myself awake and walk over to the spot where Edbert was sitting.
Gotcha. You head on over there. And we'll say that the rest of the night passes without much else going on. Next day, hey everyone, you're waking up. It's the morning, time for our second checks. Day 2.
You know what makes me think of the revolver? It makes me think of what's-his-face's gun from Legends of Vox Machina.
Percy.
Oh, yeah.
Percy. It makes me think of Percy's gun. So it makes me think of
Another.
another good Dungeons and Dragons thing for people to check out if you haven't watched it.
Quit giving away free advertisement for other D&D podcasts.
For like other multi-million-dollar
Yeah!
productions.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, Michael drinking Monster
Yeah.
with the label out.
Today's sponsor is Critical Role and Monster Energy.
And Dungeons and Daddies. Don't forget that.
And Dungeons and Daddies.
Oh my
Also,
A
a little
rowdy, horny
production you all might not have heard about it. Check out College Humor's Dropout. I've been watching Never After. It's a great series.
Fucking good.
Yeah.
Look at me started on Dropout. So fucking good. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. Fuck.
All good. All
Dude,
good.
we
You a nerd or something? Fuck you.
So, day 2.
Oh,
You all
electric
wake
boogaloo.
up. You all wake up. Nothing happened over the course of the night. However, you've hit the point where it is truly all desert around. The mountains, which were far off in the distance before, are now much closer. Probably get into them within the next day and a half of travel. And yeah, it's harder to see further ahead because the land has become more like rolling dunes. It's not as flat as it was going into this next day. So, Kenneth, what are you doing for this first leg?
That is a good question now, isn't it? That
Well,
is
you
a little
can't use
unreasonable.
deception,
I can't use
but you can
deception.
use whatever you'd use the first time.
True. I think I'm gonna try and persuade everyone to tell them that these dunes aren't actually that big. You know, like
Yeah,
I've seen.
You're
I've
like
seen
giving
bigger.
a pep talk, right?
Yeah, it's
Right. I got
like
you.
it's a little sandy. It's you might slip a couple times, but like, they're nothing.
Yeah.
They're
You're
nothing.
giving your Ted Lasso speech. I got you.
Yeah.
That roll makes it look like it's a lead tassel.
Nine.
Lead tassel.
9. All
I
right.
love lead tassel.
You all are starting to catch on to Kenneth's bullshit. Wayne, you're just in a bad mood in general because of that awful dream you had last night. Pete, based on how yesterday went, and maybe you feeling like you didn't contribute much, you're also feeling a bit down. And Kenneth's words, they just kind of ooze that, like, come on, guys, we can do it. Like, it just feels insincere. It's not necessarily that it's bad or mean-spirited or that you're trying to be manipulated. You know, it was a 9. It wasn't awful, but you're just like, you don't believe that. You don't have to do that. You know, like we're adults here. We knew what we were packing in for.
Kenneth, I appreciate the sentiment, but don't pull that shit on me. I did not get enough sleep last night for
Wayne,
this.
I slept on. I couldn't even tell you how many rocks that I woke up to jabbing me in the back.
It was 42.
Did you put them there, Pete?
No, but Edbert might have.
I'm gonna look at Edbert. Did you put
Edbert-
rocks where I was going to sleep?
Edbert is like not looking at you and just like poking fingers together.
Let's keep going.
Oh, fuck.
All right. Wayne, what are you doing?
So Wayne's in a little piss poor mood. But I'm gonna. Oh, fuck. Wayne's gonna do another survival check. Just kind of like see if there's anything out here. Like, it looks pretty empty, but like maybe there's something I'm missing. Like, kind of.
So are you trying to find maybe like a good path going forward? Because I'll say you get that speech from Kenneth. It's not really treating anyone well. Y'all hop on your horses, you start, and the terrain, the path starts to narrow, and you're getting to kind of a more steep, there's highs and lows. So with the survival check, are you trying to tell if like the path ahead of you is safe, if you can find a different way to go? Are you looking for signs of life? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I think looking for a safer route might be best because it getting narrow is not great for an ambush. The fact that everybody went out here would be amazing, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell! That's an 11. Wait, hold on, math. Yeah, 11. I was right. I did my math right.
Gotcha. Unfortunately, that is your first failure. So, Wayne, you do, you're tracking, you stop everyone for a minute whenever you get to a new spot. You're like, okay, I think this is going to be safe. You start looking for a better, like a more traveled path, and you start following it. And it's only after you see a few odd shadows stretching over you that you realize this is a very well-traveled path. You all hear from up higher in the canyon someone say, "Hold it right there."
Shit. I stopped my horse.
You look up and you see what appears to be a halfling just peeking over a rock higher up. And he says, "What brings you out this way, stranger?"
Just gonna go check out the mines. Kind of see if there's anything left in them, you know?
"Checking out the mines, huh?
Yep.
Which ones?"
Oh, what was the name of that fucking mine? While Wayne's looking up, trying to think, can I get a number of how many folk are up there? Is it just that one halfling?
I'm gonna say, since you already kind of rolled a skill check, you won't be able to do that. But Pete,
Balls.
you're up. So if you would like to try and do something while this conversation is happening with Wayne, feel free.
I think. Could I roll a perception check to kind of get an idea of who's behind us, different targets of where people might be hiding out at, and like things to be kind of watchful about?
Yep.
Perfect. $21.
21. That is a success. So, Pete, in the amount of time that Wayne is talking to this halfling, you're able to identify at least 5 places where there is someone there. You're also able to identify the fact that they don't have great paths away from the perch. They probably had to climb up into those positions. So if you all were to try and make a fast retreat or delve deeper into the canyon, you could probably get away only taking a shot or two. Now, which mine was it, mister?
I look back at Pete and Kenneth like, y'all remember the name of that mine?
Yes, I believe it was called, let's get the fuck out of here.
I take a shot at the guy who's talking to me, and I fucking just haul ass with Billy.
Gotcha. So yeah.
With my palm pistol, too.
With your palm pistol. Gotcha. You take the shot. The palm pistol doesn't have that far of a range, so it's more of just like a warning shot. And it does seem like the guy ducks down for a second. You all hightail it. If you all just want to give me... Hey, we'll not worry about it. We'll say that you can just do it. So you all fly off, and I'll just roll like 2 d20s here to see if anyone gets hit.
I love how Pete's like, I love that Pete picked up on what Wayne was trying to get. I was like, oh, what's that fucking mine called? Do we go? Do we not go mine?
All right, Wayne, pick a number between 1 and 10.
4.
Pete, pick a number between 1 and 10.
5.
And Kenneth, pick a number between 1 and 10.
19. Oh wait, that's 9.
All right. Does a 15 hit?
Me?
Who?
Kenneth.
Oh, does a 15 hit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to take 4 points of piercing damage.
Motherfucker, you assholes.
You're just a sponge for bullets, man.
I wasn't even. I just got done being shot in the last encounter, and then you two decide to bolt, and I get shot.
Yeah, no, so that makes perfect sense, actually. Kenneth, you might not have picked up on the signal. So everyone books it, including Shunsui and Slim. You're the last one to get started because Buttercup is also kind of like a slower horse. So like Buttercup looks around and doesn't know what to do, and you hear one shot go off. It goes into your leg, like by the calf, and then you slap Buttercup, and you all zoom away.
At least it wasn't your shoulder again.
That's what I was worried about. I'm gonna have like a line of bullets. It's gonna look like a tattoo.
It's a sick tattoo, bro.
Oh, fuck.
All right, so the rest of the day goes not too bad in comparison. You all stop and have a little snack midday. You catch some shade in one of the spots of the canyon where there's like an overhang that you can kind of like not quite crawl under, like the horses can get there, but you have to get down. And Kenneth, you wrap your wound, and what are you going to be doing for the second half of this day?
Grimacing.
Do I have any spells that will help you? No, I do not.
I suppose I am going to use performance to act like my morale is still high. Is that good for you, DM?
Please, I love it.
Alrighty.
Oh my lord, I love Kenneth so much.
That is gonna be an 18 plus 3. My performances, man, they do stuff.
18. You all are really surprised to see that only a couple of minutes after properly dressing his wound, Kenneth seems like invigorated. Like, Kenneth's going around being like, hey guys, I know this was a bad situation, but like, we're gonna make do. This is another lesson kind of ascending me. I think this is a good sign. We'll get the injuries out now, later. No big deal,
Very interesting.
Sure, we can try to dig that bullet out now, Kenneth.
No, that's
Oh,
alright.
it passed clean through.
Oh,
Perhaps his body is becoming accustomed to the lead within it.
yeah, you might be like Pete. Maybe you get some become a metal man.
I agree.
Oh no.
Oh no!
And then I'm just gonna deadpan and like walk away from the group.
Look into the camera. Oh man.
All right. Next up, Wayne.
Wayne's World. I'm gonna roll perception and see if how Kenneth is really.
Interesting. Okay. For the second half of the day, you're like keeping tabs on Kenneth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just know he's been through the ringer. He's our little sponge man.
Do you want to maybe make that like a medicine check or an insight check?
Let's go medicine. Let's do medicine. Yeah, it's a 12.
Hey, that's 12. All right. So, you've dressed wounds before, and you've had a lot of friends get shot, you've had coworkers get shot, and you shot quite a few people in your life. It went clean through. You can tell that it's probably fairly painful, but it doesn't seem to be affecting how he's riding. It doesn't seem like he's going to be a liability later, like he's just going to pass out or anything. He is genuinely handling this pretty well, and you doubt there'll be any long-term damage. Doesn't seem to have hit bone, doesn't seem to have hit a nerve or caused any intense bleeding. So yeah, and you kind of relay this information to the others, if you'd like to do that.
Kenneth, I think you'll be okay, but when we get back to town, moonshine on me.
No more of the lightning water, please. That didn't turn out too great last time.
Slim says, it might help with the pain, actually.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I didn't really feel 3 bullets that you put into me, but...
You didn't even feel it? I'm gonna call bullshit on that, Kenneth.
Alright, I felt it a little bit.
Okay, a little bit, okay.
You say that to Slim, and he looks down, and he looks back at you, and he says, I know I didn't say anything. I am sorry.
It's alright. We all make faults in the heat of anger.
I mean, he was being mind controlled, so it's technically not his fault.
I mean, mind controlled or not, I don't blame you for wanting to shoot me, for withholding that information of me, putting your dad 6 feet lower than most of us stand.
I'd say we could probably call it even, yeah.
I'm fine with that, and just to hopefully give your mind a little bit of a rest, I did give him a proper burial. As unmarked as I left it, for I didn't really know him, but he was resting easy.
He looks at you, and he's got a pretty hard set to his jaw and look on his face. His mouth, it's like a thin line as he looks at you. He nods, and then he turns and continues on his way. Pete, what are you doing?
I believe I'm going to kind of examine the type of terrain that we're moving through and see if I can determine any better adjustments that we can make to the way that we're traveling in doing a nature check to see maybe it's like similar to different things that I've seen in the elemental plane of heat and fire. just being that it's a barren desert. And that would be a 13 on the nature.
13 on the nature. Remind me again what exactly you were trying to determine.
So I'm thinking about if the desert is similar at all to the elemental plane of heat and fire, in that like I would know good ways that we could go about navigating it, or
Absolutely.
like tips or tricks.
Yeah, there were a lot of canyons that looked fairly similar to this. They were just of a darker stone. And this place has the added benefit of there not being a river of lava at the bottom. You have traversed areas like this. You know how these structures tend to form, and you are able to pretty expertly pick out, we should take that left path. 20 or 30 minutes later, no, we should go on the right path. Actually, this time we should take the game trail. So you are very helpful in determining which path to take, while Wayne is sort of seeing to Kenneth and making sure he's all right, and Kenneth is just doing his best to grit his teeth and keep a smile going. And you all finish out the night by finding a pretty decent sort of shallow cave in the rock wall. And you can set up a fire in there. You see that it's well ventilated. You all have another night that passes by pretty uneventfully. Let's move on to day 3. You start moving out, and you see across the way a rickety bridge. You don't have to go that way, but on the other side of the canyon, there appear to be a number of dug out, carved like sort of stone and mud and brick huts and houses in the wall. Slim quickly identifies this as the lower rung of Ghost Town's city. There's also a city on top of the canyon over on the other side, but this is kind of the underworld of it, where a lot of the poorer people lived.
So avoid that at all costs. Got it. Start of the day today. Said we're out of the canyon, right?
Yeah, you're making your way out.
About how far out can we really see in this environment?
I'm going to say that as you get closer and closer to midday, you fully make your way out of Red Canyon, and you still can't see super far, probably a quarter a mile at a time, because there are still rolling hills, and now there are more mountains in this region as well.
Okay. Don't yawn it that bad, holy. I guess I'll we'll go back to the start of this journey, and I'll take another perception. I'll just kind of nice little look around, make sure we're, traveling on a decent path, and keeping an eye out for anything that might be too dangerous coming towards us.
For sure.
Natural 1.
So,
Like Zoink Scoob.
in my skills challenges, the way I like to run them, a nat 20 counts for 2 successes. That means that a critical failure counts for 2 failures. So, Kenneth starts the day by leading the group, trying to identify the best places to go, making sure that you all get out of the canyon safely. Unfortunately, one of the paths that Kenneth decides to choose is not as sturdy as you all had thought. The ground underneath you all rumbles a little bit, rocks come from higher up, and you all start sliding down deeper into Red Canyon. Can everyone make me a dexterity saving throw?
Do I get advantage on this dex throw with my horse?
Yes.
Awesome.
Wait, what was your horse's thing again?
It was Buttercup. She's like it's animal. Any animal.
Yeah, it's animal.
handling, I get advantage. That's right.
I will say, if you'd like to make it animal handling to try to maneuver her in the best way possible, I could accept that.
Okay, I'll take it. Why does the universe fucking hate me?
Oh no!
I rolled a 4 not on one dice, but on both of the dice.
You all begin sliding down to one of the lower spots. Wayne and Pete, You all handle it pretty well. You see that Slim and Shunsui are doing all right. The horses are kind of freaked, but you all kind of get your horses to kind of drop down, so they're sliding on their side and not at risk of like injuring their legs. Kenneth, you panic for a moment. You don't really know what to do. You just grip the reins as tight as you can and pull. Horse goes up on both of her back legs. She brays, and then she falls and tumbles, you falling with her a few times. You actually hit that rope bridge, and that's where you all land, kind of on the bridge. And the horse is neighing, clearly in pain. So you all are actually lower than Kenneth. You're able to kind of maneuver down to a lower game trail that was underneath. Kenneth was stopped by the rope bridge and is now on it.
Can I check on my horse?
Yeah, go ahead and give me medicine.
Okay. 6.
6. It's hard to say. Your horse is clearly in pain. She's whining a lot. Her feet appear to all be going the right direction. So there's that.
Yeah, that's good.
But it's hard to say. She clearly doesn't really want to get up. And as you go over to check her, she kind of like squirms and maneuvers. She ends up off the bridge, like on the path.
Oh.
And as she rolls back onto the path, you watch as and the bridge starts falling. Can you go ahead and give me some sort of acrobatics or sleight of hand to like, grip it?
Yeah. Do you want me
Your
to do
god
athletics
hates
or
you,
sleight of
dude.
hand? She just gives her strongest battles to her weakest soldiers, okay?
Oh, fuck.
That's gonna be a 16 plus 3, 19.
There it is. There it is.
I switched dice.
So you are able to hold on and grip the bridge, so you don't just fall, but you swing over to the side, the ghost town side, and you're there. You can climb up it like it's a ladder to get on that side, but you are firmly in ghost town, my friend.
We're getting at least up this fucking makeshift ladder because I am not falling to the bottom of this crevice.
How hard would it be for Wayne to jump off Billy to run up there and give Kenneth a hand?
They're on the other side of the canyon. You'd have to maneuver down to the bottom and then back up the other side.
Christ, okay.
Which will probably add, if y'all had to guess, another day onto your trip. And I think we can actually leave it at that for today's session.
Solo ghost town adventure coming up.
These things happen.
It's just me
We're
walking around trying not to
gonna leave Kenneth hanging?